Hello and welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. My name is Stephen Clark and I'm joined as by always with my co-host Nick Ponte. All right, Nick, how you doing?
Not bad, Stephen. How is the lockdown treating you this week?
Lockdown has been good. I've been flat out busy. Daddy daycare during the day, and one thing I'm actually loving about the lockdown is I know you're going to laugh when I say this because you've already slated me on Instagram for it, but I'm loving getting rid of all the jobs. Like, 4 years ago today, my daughter was born. It's my daughter's birthday, and since then it's been a bit of a whirlwind for me. Kind of having that pain point of not wanting to miss out on her childhood and her upbringing. I quickly quit my job, went full time into my property business. We moved house within a couple of months after that, and you know what it's like when you move house. There's always all these wee odd jobs. The wife's always saying, "You get that done. I want this done. I want that done." So obviously, for the last 3 weeks of lockdown, that's all I've been doing is DIY jobs around the house, and it's actually quite good to get your house in order. I feel like the stress and the mess and the distraction in my life's actually starting to slowly fade away the more and more I get these jobs.
Give us an idea what you've been up to then. What jobs have you been tackling?
So I started the bathroom probably in October to try and do for my wife's Christmas. I've never done it and finished it. So that the ensuite was needing painted, the bedrooms were needing painted, my office was needing painted. What else have I done? Odd jobs, wiring, spotlights, soffit lights.
You still got a few to get through though, so you'll be all right for another couple of months, will you?
I've got another couple of weeks worth of jobs before I'm going to be bored. That's for sure. But do you know what? It is quite good. I do feel that the weight's been lifted, because you know what it's like in your business and your everyday life. You're always getting stressed out by everything you need to do, and I'm particularly bad at those jobs, and also admin jobs in your property business. So see, you actually trying to clear your feet and get rid of all the admin work and receipts and paperwork. It's actually been quite a nice feeling the last few weeks, and I've probably got another 2 or 3 weeks left of work to do before I'll be fully caught up. So
I've
quite
kind of
nice.
enjoyed the pause. Life was so fast paced before. It's become the new norm now, and I've kind of got used to it. But I'm really enjoying the kind of just basically just stopping and enjoying. It sounds pretty cheesy, right? But I've been connecting with my kids a lot more, spending time, just kind of enjoying the moments with them. And I think if we're to look back on this, in a year's time, we might think, do you know what? It'd be actually quite nice to have one of these every year, a lockdown.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. I know it's a horrible situation and there's people dying, there's a lot of people suffering, but we're never going to get this opportunity in our lifetime to put the world on pause. I mean, some people will take a couple of days or a couple of weeks off at Christmas and New Year, but if you've got your own business, you don't. You're always working your business. You're always at the phone. You're always at the end of a phone to a tenant, or there's a refurb or a project going on the go. And even if you sit at home and you take Christmas Day off, you still look at Rightmove and you still have a look at your phone. So your mind's always engaged with business. But like we were chatting before we came online, no properties are getting listed on Rightmove. So we've not got anything that is going to be taking our distraction away. We're getting that chance to pause and reset at the moment, which is good.
And you don't have that feeling like you're going to miss out on anything, because we're not missing out on anything because nothing's happening. So that's quite nice as well.
Aye, we're not missing out on deals, that's for sure. There's nothing going on in the market. So what else has been happening in your week? I wouldn't mind getting a bit of a catch up with you, because we've not spoke for over a week, but it's been an important week because we've hit the first period of rental incomes due. So obviously you've got your own portfolio plus your managed portfolio. What sort of percentage are you looking at that's had issues with rent payments? Or
so we've got a few different types of scenarios. Obviously, people are falling into probably one of three different categories. So you've obviously got the self-employed who are getting 80%, but they're not getting covered till June. So there's a bit of a shortfall there. You've got the people who are getting furloughed from work, and that's an 80% of their wages. So you've got them. And then you've got the people who are still kind of working from home, and they're fine. So majority of the tenants are fine. I've got about 85 properties that I manage in total. And I would say out of everybody so far, I've probably got two. I've got one that hasn't been able to pay anything. He was a restaurant worker, and the landlord's kindly given him a holiday, as they call it. But obviously he's aware that needs to be paid back. I've probably got another 3 cases where they've said they won't be able to pay the full rent, but they've paid probably, 70 to 80% of it. Mm-hmm. And then obviously that gets logged as rent arrears, and they're obviously aware that needs to be paid back in a payment plan afterwards. So it's quite a small minority, and it
Which
doesn't
we
seem
kind of
like,
expected, I suppose, for the first month.
yeah, exactly. I'm just hoping that the furlough scheme will kick in quite fast and employers will be able to access the money by the end of April, and that will sort out, next month's rents, hopefully. And also, I just hope that the system can handle it, because like a lot of employers, obviously, they know that they can follow the staff, but they haven't been able to do that because the system, the portal's still getting set up, and there's talk of that getting released to employers around about the kind of 20th of April or something like that. So we just hope that the money will start coming through, and all the kind of underpinning that the government have done, hopefully it'll basically support everybody further up the chain, up the line.
Yeah. What about your own personal portfolio? Any of your own tenants missed any?
No, I think all of my own ones have been absolutely okay, just off the top of my head. But again,
I
not all
got
my tenants pay rent on the first of the month, so
right, right.
I have like rents coming in all through the month. So I've been trying to communicate as much as possible with people, just to sort of foresee any issues and to try and help them through, because a lot of people will need guidance on financial issues and kind of need that kind of push in the right direction so that they can, if there's no other option for them, then they'll need to claim universal credit, and they'll need to get into that system. And all that, obviously, it's got a backlog as well. So you might need to be patient as a landlord, but I think eventually the money will start coming through, and it
Mhm.
might be just a case of just deferring things just for a few weeks, hopefully.
I got two in my own portfolio. One's a self-employed barber who obviously
Right.
shut down a few weeks ago. So
Yeah.
he was, I think, 280 quid short on the
Yeah.
rent. Couldn't quite make the
Self-employed, probably
full
the worst.
rent. Yeah, and the other one was, I think she was a dental hygienist, but she didn't pay the full amount of rent and gave her notice to quit. So obviously, in 30 days' time, I'm going to get the property empty as well, which is not a good one. But I mean, it's only two. It's not huge. It is obviously it's not great, but it's not huge, and it's not too damaging. But like I say,
Yeah.
it's quite worrying. It's the first month when it shouldn't have had a huge amount of effect in place. So interesting to see how that goes going forward. So this week we're chatting about things we can do in our property business to keep growing, or if you're getting started in property, things you can be doing to keep pushing forward. So put things in place, improve our business, and when this thing's lifted, that we are back to business ASAP. So do you want to get us started, Nick, on the first point we want to discuss?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think just to kind of run over things, myself and Stephen have got, I've got 3 kids. Stephen's got one at the moment, and we're pretty busy, haven't we, Stephen, looking after the kids? I mean, to be honest with you, I've probably never been busier.
I do
I know
daycare
that
full time. Aye.
your partner, she's still working from home and that, isn't she? So you're
Yeah.
pretty much left to kind of do all the kind of daddy daycare. And I've obviously got to do my bit as well. So we don't have a huge amount of time, but there will be a lot of people, especially folk that have been like furloughed. So this new term, like furloughing, where basically you've been told that you can't work and that you'll get 8% of your wages paid. I mean, there's never been a better time to, if you were considering going into property or educating yourself, or you want a property business, but you weren't quite getting the time to kind of build it up or get a strategy in place or plan it out, then there's never really been a better time, because there's only so much Netflix you can do, and then you got to find time to do something else. So I think personally there will be a lot of people with a bit of free time in their hands, and this is like the perfect podcast for you, because we're going to run through 7 things that you can do if you've got a bit of spare time in your hands to get yourself going in your property business, and so that you can thrive on the other side when we come out of this, and you can really be in a good place to push forward with opportunities. So number 1 is virtual networking. And we've seen a whole load of these pop up. I mean, we actually did one ourselves.
Yeah, we done our one last Monday. The first one talking about with Keza Salimi, our mortgage broker, to discuss the lending stuff, and we're going to make this quite a regular occurrence, aren't we?
Yeah, so this is great, and there's loads of people doing these. So if you look around Facebook, there's loads of people promoting like online networking events where they'll have some speakers. You'll be able to get some really good value from what's going on, and it's a good chance to be able to network with people, or see people talk. when you can't actually attend any events because all the events have obviously been cancelled, and usually they're free as well. Well, yeah, I think they all are free. I think they'd be pretty hard pushed to be able to charge somebody for a Zoom call. I don't think
I thought
that.
you were going to suggest that there.
Well, no, I don't think it's really in our remit, mate. I think we like to give all our content for free at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
So these can be found Facebook, Instagram, all over the place. And you basically use Zoom. I think most people have probably heard of Zoom by now. I think Zoom's probably one of the companies that's...
Zoom's the shares I should have been buying.
Some people were saying that Zoom's caused this pandemic because they're absolutely flying at the moment. If you don't have Zoom, then I'm sure you can just jump on. You just get the link sent to you, and I think it's as easy as just clicking the link, and you can go on your phone or on your laptop.
Yep.
Number 2, Stephen, can you see it?
Superb. So number 2 you had was ramp up our social media content, which obviously we've got a lot of time on our hands. So, well, when I say a lot of time on our hands, like we have not got a huge amount of time on hands, but you can ramp up your social media content if you're looking to generate some leads for people that are maybe want to sell their property or sell it off market. You can be doing that. Or if you're looking for private investors or joint venture partners, you can ramp up your social media targeted against what you're looking for or what you want to get out of it. And we've got plenty of time on our hands, and I'm pretty sure that more people are looking at their phones now more than ever. So you've got a complete captive audience that if you're putting out structured content or educating people and targeting them to what you're looking for, now is a good time to be doing that.
Couple of interesting things on that one, Stephen. I heard a few things mentioned the other day. The price of Facebook advertising's come down, so basically it's going to cost you less to get in front of more people because a lot of businesses, that'll be one of the first things that they'll cut back on during these hard times. So this is a really good opportunity. If you do have a bit of money there that you can put on some posts, some Facebook advertising, then I think it's a good time to do so. And again, I would urge you to go on. If you don't know anything about Facebook ads, then go and learn. I've learned so much in the past year trying to promote my business. All you need to do is go on YouTube. There's so much free education out there that tells you how to run Facebook ads. And it is quite complex, but it's really, really interesting and it can be really useful. So take the time and learn something new. And this is something that you can do just from your own home, from your own computer.
Yeah, definitely. The only difficulty with social media stuff for me at the moment is, I don't like coming up with philosophical bullshit, but there isn't really much else to put out there except for try to be a little bit more positive and not buy into the whole negative on social media. But I like sharing real life examples and no bullshit. I like sharing pictures of before and afters or a project you're working on or something you've bought. Obviously, right now that's not happening since they're a bit at grounded halt. So yeah, that's maybe making it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, if you've got some kind of target,
you can go over your archives. So if you've done projects in the past, then you can pull out before and after pictures. And I seen one posted the other day on our Scotch Property Facebook group. I think it was Ella Rad. She posted an example of a deal that she did recently, and it was great because it gave all the figures. And it gave photos of the before and after, and it gave a real life example. So that's something that she might not necessarily have had time to do while she was doing the project, but she's gone over it and said, oh, well, this might be useful for the group. So,
no, that's a very good point, Nick.
Number 3, Stephen, I've put this one down. Contact estate agents and identify possible deals. Now, the market has pretty much ground to a halt in terms of sales at the moment, and I think you've been having a wee look recently, Stephen. I don't think anything's really been coming on.
No.
But
I think it's still important to touch base with your estate agents, or at least if you haven't spoken to them in a while, just break contact with them, let them know you're still there and you're still active in property.
And I would say anything that is coming on the market at the moment, then, people are probably going to be in a position where they really need to sell quite fast, and there could be a potential negotiation to be had there. So do still keep an eye on things. And obviously properties that were on the market pre-lockdown as well, they'll be getting more and more agitated and eager to sell as well. So if they've been on the market for a couple of months before lockdown, and then this has stalled them another 3 months, then by the time we come out the other end, they might be in a position where they'll take a lot lower than they originally would have. So it's good to track those properties and speak to the agents about any potential negotiation on those deals as well.
That's very true. One point as well, if the agents have been furloughed, are they allowed to respond or do any kind of work for their business?
Well, that's what a lot of people have been saying. A lot of people have been saying that they've actually been having problems trying to get in touch with agents in the first
Mm.
place. But I would say email's probably your best bet, because a lot of the offices, most of the offices will be shut. The bigger companies, I don't know if they've got systems in place where they will divert their phones to a member of staff. They probably will have, because I'm presuming that they might furlough some staff, but there will be a skeleton staff
Yeah,
still,
keep one or two in. Mm-hmm.
yeah, still going. And again, we always kind of revert back to, you always have the best, you'll always have the best relationships will be built with the independent agents as well. So if you email the independent agents, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get the owner, the guy in charge or girl in charge to
Yeah.
respond to you.
Yeah, I've found that certainly the ones I've been in touch with the last couple of weeks are the ones I've got a more personal relationship with, that they'll respond to you and let you know what's happening and where they are for business, if they're open for business, if they're not, if they're doing, how they're doing viewings, or if they are conducting viewings, or
And
on the line.
let's face it, they're going to be pretty eager to get the interest in as well, because inquiries would have dropped off a cliff. So before that, all this, things were really motoring in the sales. And you'd phone up an agent, and sometimes you get them quite cocky, and they'd be like, "What's this guy wasting my time?" They're going to want to talk to you now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. So number 4 on your list, Nick, was to read books and educate yourself and listen to podcasts. So there's a whole list of stuff out there online, on social media now, that people are putting in more content out there as well. But podcasts, audiobooks, they're a great source of knowledge and a great source of, for learning. They're free resources that anyone can access. So if you're sitting on the fence on want to get involved in property or a certain strategy in property, now is a good time to get yourself really educated on that and listen to some podcasts on it, read some books, connect with people, jump on these virtual online Zoom calls, and try and dig in deep to learn about these strategies. Are you listening to anything at all, Nick, at the moment, or?
Well, I've never really been good at reading books, but when I discovered audiobooks and Audible, I did start kind of getting through a few, and I can definitely recommend a few. But one that really sticks out for me that kind of changed my whole productivity, I would say, would be the Tim Ferriss 4 Hour Work Week. Have you read?
We all love that. I've tried to listen to it. Didn't get too far into it, to be fair.
Did you not? Well, honestly, like a lot of it really hit home with me. And see, just one thing I took out of that, one of the biggest things was, see, when you're running about all day and your phone's going. Now, I used to be answering my phone all the time. As soon as it rang, I would be like answering it. And Tim Ferriss tells you to time block and only take calls if you're on your kind of phone answering hour slot, or return your calls, basically. So just keep them all banked up. And then when you're like either in the car or you've got an hour where you've just dedicated to answering calls, then that's when you return on all your calls, and you're not interrupting your day constantly. And just that small thing for me, after reading that book, that totally changed my productivity. Is there any books that you would recommend, Stephen, off the top of your head?
I was looking through my library, and I was trying to pick out one to listen to about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't even select. I didn't even get that far. But then that brings me to a point I was going to raise there. We noticed the last 2 weeks since this kicked off that the podcast downloads had pretty much halved. Yeah. And I thought that was really, really strange. And I'd spoke to some of the guys on my mastermind, and I said, that's weird. I thought people would have more time on their hands. They'd be trying to get educated. But I think it's broke everyone's routine up completely, that maybe the people that were listening to the podcast on their commute to work are no longer commuting to work. So they're no longer listening to it. Or the guys that are maybe going to listen to it in the gym, they're no longer going to the gym at the moment. So yeah, I probably found myself in that same boat, that the rocking the routines knocked my Audible listening completely out of the way, because before, when I'd walk the dog or be in the car or visit a project to listen to an audiobook or a podcast, I've got my little sidekick Milo with me the whole time. So the earphones are no longer in. So yeah,
depends what your situation is, isn't it? And what you're, like we're busy with the kids and all that, so you're not going to just plug into your headphones and just ignore them. As much as you like to sometimes.
I've tried to, but she just tried to drag me on the trampoline. No. Unfortunately, mate, no. I've slacked on when it comes to that part.
There's good podcasts out there, Matt. I don't mind giving them a shout out because it's not like we're competing with anybody or anything like that. So the property podcast with the two Robs, that's a really good one. They've been doing that for years. Do you know what I mean? So they're really knowledgeable, albeit it's a lot. They don't cover much of Scotland, which is one of the reasons we launched this podcast. Mike Stenhouse, Inside Property Investing, they're good, but they talk a lot about HMOs. What else is there?
That's the only two I listen to as well.
That's kind of two main property ones. Another one actually, Tej Talks. There's a guy called Tej Talks. He's just come out with one as well, which is quite good. The Rodcast. There's one called Rodcast. I've listened to a couple of his. So there's more and more popping up, and some of them are really good. So yeah, go and check them out. YouTube. I've been watching a bit of YouTube as well. A guy called Jordan Belfort. Have you heard of him? The Wolf, Wolf of Wall Street. So Jordan Belfort, he's really good. He's a big sales guy. Probably he's kind of like similar to Grant Cardone, but he's much more kind of. He doesn't have as much bullshit, and he's much smarter than Grant Cardone. I think Grant Cardone a bit kind of just repeats the same stuff again and again. You're like, there's not much sense. He's not talking much sense here. But this guy, Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, he's got a podcast out and he's got a YouTube channel, and I find it quite good. So there's a few recommendations in there.
Nice. So the next one you had on was start a mastermind. So right now it's very much. I mean, I don't want to. I've said this to you before. I've been slacking on the social media front. I've been slacking on the Scottish Property Podcast Facebook group because I hate getting drained with the constant everyone's opinion on what's going on and the negative news articles getting shared. So I'm very thankful for my mastermind groups. I created a mastermind group that I educate some people on property, and I've got a kind of peer mastermind group with other investors. And we've had regular calls, weekly calls with these guys, and it's helping me keep my mindset quite focused on the positivity and looking for the opportunities rather than the doom and gloom and what's going on. So it was a point that you wanted to raise as well about mastermind groups, wasn't it?
Well, I think they always say it's important for you to surround yourselves with, people that are on your wavelength and other people who you can get, energy from and positivity from. So, if you set up yourself a wee mastermind, and it could be people that you've maybe met at a networking group or something like that, maybe people that are at a similar level to you, because I think I think with a mastermind group, I'm not actually part of one myself, but I have heard that it's important that you'll know more about this than me, Stephen, because you actually do it, but it's important with a mastermind group to make sure that you get a kind of range of different people who kind of can contribute something useful to the group.
Yeah, so my mastermind group that I've got with my peers and my other property investors, we've got a whole lot of experience at the table. Like one of the guys just does commercial multi-lets only with Jerry Alexander. We had him on the podcast a few weeks ago. Got a guy that just does service accommodations. There's a mixture between straight up commercial, normal buy-to-lets, a letting agent. So we've got a whole host of investors at the table, and it's nice to bring in different experiences and different skill sets and different knowledge, and obviously learn from their mistakes and the lessons that they've had to learn over the years as well.
And obviously you can do that with Zoom as well, guys. So that can be something you can do virtually.
I quite liked it this last couple of weeks because both my mastermind groups were actually talking about other opportunities, and some of them had a lot more knowledge and experience in stocks and shares than I do. So the chats that I was involved in the mastermind groups encouraged me to be a bit more active on my stocks and shares ISA. So I've actually been doing pretty well the last couple of weeks. I think I ended on 41% last week, and I think I'm up something like 18% this week already and stuff like that. So I'm just been playing about with them, on your phone. So yeah, so it's quite interesting. You wouldn't have got that positive reinforcement from just looking on Facebook and listening to people's opinions and doom and gloom shit of what's going on in the market. So a mastermind group, I think, is hugely important. So if you're
I think with all this Zoom and virtual networking, I think it's brilliant because you saves kind of so much time as well, and like use it to do one-to-ones, so you can, instead of like driving somewhere to meet for a coffee and taking an hour, and then it's like half an hour to get there, half an hour to get back. Now you can condense it all in, and you can probably get a lot more done. I think the whole virtual meetings and Zoom meetings are going to really, really,
Stick around after this is gone.
yeah, I think it's going to change the way we do business for sure. Absolutely, it's kind of like I kind of almost feel like we've kind of fast forwarded in the technology world. We've probably going to fast forward about kind of 5 years, because a lot of people were still in the traditional methods.
Yeah, or it's certainly forcing us to use the technology that's available and has
Yeah,
been for a long time.
yeah, totally. All
Mm.
right, number 6, get your taxes in order. This is a horrible one, but like you said about doing the kind of mundane
Mhm.
admin tasks, and it's just really important to kind of start off on the right foot in property as well. So if you're kind of like started your limited company and you're maybe getting towards the end of that tax year, then and you've got a bit of time, then really I would urge you to go back, because I found myself in a total mess over this, and it's horrible, it's stressful, and if you just keep on top of it from the start, you'll be in a much better position.
Yeah, that's. I know you didn't want to raise this and put this in, Nick, but um, I I completely agree with you. The 5th of April ended on, was it Sunday? The tax year ended.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
having this bit of time and freedom gave me um, the knowledge that it was ending. Usually it would just be a blink and a miss and it's already passed. I actually managed to plan a little bit better for it and put some more money in stocks and shares, as I tell, obviously for a bit of
Right.
tax benefit. But funny enough, last night I prepared all my stuff already to send to my accountant for the tax year that's just passed. So what we're on the 9th of April. So on the 8th of April, 3 days after it passed, and bearing in mind, I'm a 30th of January guy every year.
Usually you leave it to
Stressing
the
out
end of January, right?
my 30th of January, guaranteed the day before, figuring out
Yeah.
exactly my self-assessment. So this is, and this was something I wanted to put in place anyway. So this has just gave me the opportunity to pause and refresh, and obviously have that wee time to make sure that I'm actually doing the paperwork and the stuff that no one really enjoys doing, do we?
Do you use any software at all? Because that'd be a good shout out. Any software? Because I've used like Zero, and it's really good for keeping track of everything.
I use an accountant.
Aye,
uh,
but do they, with the accountants, sometimes they say we'll set you up with QuickBooks or Zero, and that way you can like log receipts and stuff as well.
she uses Zero for my limited companies, but for my own personal stuff, I just give her my CSVs for my bank statements, send them over
Right.
to her each month,
But
and
since you're doing like projects and stuff like that, and you're buying materials or you're getting invoices in, how do you log that? Do you just
she's got them through my limited company, so she keeps on track of
right,
them through my limited company. So it's my
all
own
right.
personal ones, at my own personal portfolio. That I keep on track of. So yeah,
So
I
you use her for the kind of bookkeeping as well as the
yeah,
uh,
to be in a position that I'm going to hopefully have this kind of sorted out with her in the next week or so is going to be such a great feeling to know that it's done. And like, I don't know if you mentioned it, but it prepares you more in advance. So obviously, come the 31st of January, you've submitted your self-assessment at the deadline as usual, and then you've got to pay your tax within, it's quite quick, isn't it? Is it that day or the 31st of January?
oh
Whereas
yeah,
now
I
I've got from April to next January to figure out, oh, my tax is due. This is what I'm due. Prepare you for it
that's good.
rather than just
Mate.
getting hit
It's
with it.
sound like you're very organised there, so well done. Congratulations.
One of my
So
jobs been taken care of.
number 7, this is the last one, guys. Get your finance in place so that when potential deals and opportunities do come about, then you're ready. You're ready to go. So I guess this is actually a question that somebody asked on the group, talking about finances. So we could be talking about mortgages, bridging, private finance here. The problem with the mortgages is I think pretty much the mortgage market's pretty much ground to a standstill as well. But what you can do is obviously meet with the broker, get all the meetings, get the affordability tests done, just try and build up your kind of communications with any investors or potential investors. If you've got anybody that you're thinking that might be interested in investing in property, then obviously try and get meetings with them. Got anything to
Yeah,
add to that?
definitely. I've been touching base with a couple of bridging lenders that I use quite regularly. So just to make sure that basically just getting a feeling for their appetite, that when this does lift, what's their appetite? Has their loan to value dropped? Has their criteria changed at all? So just keeping an eye on what's been happening and going directly to them or your brokers, a good source of information to know exactly what's going on. But you raised a good point there as well of like private investors. That's something that I've done quite a bit of the last couple of weeks, is when I've been out, during the day or doing jobs around the house, is making calls and keeping in touch with other investors that I do some deals with, and a couple of joint venture partners that called me and were saying, I'm still want to do a joint venture when this lifts. Are you still looking for opportunities? I'm like, of course, when they come, I'll be ready if you're still in a position to go as well. So yeah, it's so key to make sure you're keeping these relationships going and knowing what's happening with your finance, because
Yeah.
the floodgates might open. Yeah.
And I think there's going to be people who are interested in sourcing as well. I think there's going to be loads of opportunity there. And I think there's going to be loads of, foreign investment coming back in after this all finishes as well. Because people from like China and things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people coming and looking at UK property again. So definitely opportunities there.
Yeah, that sounds good. Can you do a favour? Can you give a roundup of all the points? I think you know that there's 7 points that you can be
Yeah.
doing right now in your property business. Can you give a quick recap on them?
Yeah, number one, virtual networking. Number two, ramp up your social media content and try and do some lead generation, whether that's landlords or whether that's investors or direct to vendors. Number three, contact estate agents who are basically going to be sitting on their arses, with not much work to do, so they're going to be willing to talk to you. Number four, read books, listen to podcasts, educate yourself, look at YouTube. There's so much content out there. Go through the 15 episodes of the Scottish Property Podcast and catch up on all the episodes that you've not gone through. Number five, start a mastermind group. Stephen's already part of one of these, and he's got good experience there. So ask him about them. Number six, get your taxes in order, the dreaded tax, but it's good to be organised. And number seven, get your finance in place for when the opportunities and deals do start popping up. So that's about it, guys.
Superb, Nick. Thanks for that. Just to add, if you've enjoyed the episodes, can you please share them on your social media or leave us a review? That'd be great. It would help us reach more people that want to know more about property and obviously the Scottish property market in general. But just on a final note, we're going to run an additional weekly Zoom call on a Monday evening at 8 o'clock. So the details can be found on the Scottish Property Podcast Facebook group. And we're basically going to try and get a panel of the kind of key experts or the key people and experts in the field. So we're going to have a mortgage broker on, a solicitor on, and an accountant on. So the regulations are changing on a daily, minutely basis. So to keep on track and keep on topic, we're going to have a weekly networking event where these experts are going to be online and they're going to be able to ask your questions. So we'll have a quick discussion, we'll put them online, and I think you're going to record them and release them as additional bonus podcasts as well, Nick?
Yeah, we'll definitely put that on the podcast channel so you can catch up if you do miss it. But I think the easiest way is we'll just put out the link. I think last time I did it on Eventbrite, but I think that was just taking keep track of the numbers. But I think the easiest way to do it, now that we know how to use Zoom a bit better, because we're all learning about Zoom as we go. But I think the easiest thing is we just get the link and we just put it out there and everybody can share it. And then we just see who turns up on the night. But we'll have the solicitor, like Stephen said, mortgage broker, and possibly accountant as well. So we hope to see you on Monday. That'll
Brilliant.
be Monday. I don't have a calendar up here, but we'll put a wee event on the Facebook group, and you can join that.
Put some in the show notes of this podcast, which will be released on Friday the 10th as well.
That's a good idea.
Brilliant, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys, and see you again. I hope you've survived the next week of lockdown.